Hello students, so we are going to see conditional statements in Python programming. So basically what is this conditional statements? So the conditional statements means what? We choose either we want the statement 1 or we want the statement 2 depending on the certain conditions. So there will be some condition. If that condition is satisfying, then the true statement will get executed. If that statement is not satisfying, then the other statements will get executed. So depending on the conditions, based on the conditions which the user is giving, on that basis the following statement will get executed. So now in this Python programming, we have four types of these conditional statements. First is if statement, second is if else statement, third is elif statement, and the fourth is nested if statement. So one by one, now we are going to see how this if else, elif and nested if statement works. So let me open a Jupyter. Okay. Now first we are going to see is the if statement. So if is the statement where there will be one condition, and if that condition is getting satisfied, then only the required block will get executed. So let me show you the example of if statement. I'm adding the comment. Comment is nothing but that line or a part which we are writing in the hashtag will get invalid. It will not include in a code. It will not include in any executables. Okay. So we are seeing the example of if statement. I'm taking one variable a is equal to 33 and b is equal to 200. Okay, I have declared a variable and assign a value to it. That is a is equal to 33 and b is equal to 200. Now I'm writing if statement. So the syntax is you have to write if and then condition, and based on that condition the following statement will get executed. So I'm writing if b greater than a. After that, after writing the condition, you have to give a colon, which is important. And then at the next line, you have to write print function. Inside that, in double quotes, I'm writing, we have a condition if b is greater than a. So I'm writing b is greater. Okay. So see now, I have given a space before the print function. And this is important when we are doing a Python coding. This indentation is very important. Indentation means the way you write it, the way we give a space in between the lines. Okay, so this is very important. You have to compulsory give a space and then write the code. So this is an example of my if statement. So if the condition is satisfying, then only B will get print. So when I will run this code, the output I am getting is B is greater. The output which I am getting is because really the B is greater than A. Now let's change the value. I am changing the value of B to 2. I'm giving a value 2. Okay, B is equal to 2. Now if I run the code, see I am not getting any output. Why I am not getting any output? Because it is not satisfying any condition. If the condition is satisfying, then only it will print B is greater. Otherwise, it will not print anything. Now, this was the part of if statement. Yeah, I have highlighted the part. This is a syntax and this is a way to write a if statement. After that, even you can print anything whichever you want. I'm just printing thank you. Now see, the way I have written this. I have written this print function without giving any spaces. If and only if you are using a conditional statement like if statement or if else statement, then only you have to give a proper space in between the statements or at the start of the statements. Otherwise, you do not have to give anything. Now, this print thank you is not dependent on B greater than A. only one statement is dependent on B greater than A, that is B is greater. This is the first print statement which is dependent on the condition. So when I will run the code, I am only getting the output, thank you. This is the simple if statement. If the condition is true, then only it will print the output, else it will not print the output. This is a simple if statement. Now, the second statement we have is if else statement. If else statement. Now, what is this if else statement? So, in this if else statement, if there is some condition and if that condition is true, it will print that condition, else the false condition will get print. Means in any case, either true statement will get executed or false statement will get executed. Any one statement will get executed irrespective of the conditions. Any one statement will get executed. It will not happen that both any like if the condition is false, he will not print anything. No, he will print the false statement if the condition is false. Otherwise, he will print the true statement if the condition is true. Let's take an example. I am writing A is equal to 22 and I am writing B is equal to 12. Now here I am giving a condition if A is less than B, okay, then give colon and then write print A is greater. Else, see the way how I am writing, else print B is greater. Now see, if A is less than B, okay, just a minute, I will revise it. If A is greater than B, we are printing A is greater, else B is greater. Means if the condition is false, then we will print B is greater. Okay. So when I will run the code, I'm getting the output as A is greater. Now we know that this A is already really a greater number than B. Suppose if we are taking the values of A and B from user, so I'm just putting input function to the place of A and B. So when I will run the code, I don't know, right, what user will input. So I'm just giving values 8 and 4. So when I will click enter, it is saying A is greater because now A value is 8 and B value is 4. Similarly, if I run the code again and I'm giving 5 and 9, see now it is printing B is greater. So depending on the condition, it is giving his output. So this is a if else statement. Either true block will get executed or false block will get executed. Means in any condition there will be an output. Either it will be a true or it will be a false output. Okay. So in any one case there will be an output. This is a if else statement in Python programming. Then we have elif statement. So let's see that example. Elif statement. What is this elif statement? You will observe that in the if statement, only the true block gets executed. In the if else statement, either a true statement will execute or false statement will get executed. Now in the elif statement, we can have multiple conditions and we can give an output for a multiple conditions. That means more than one condition, we can write it into the elif statement. If you observe the if else statement, there is only one condition and on that basis we get a true output or false output. But here in the elif statement, we can have multiple conditions and depending on that conditions, we can get the output. Let's try this code. I'm writing A is equal to 200, B is equal to 33. Now I'm writing the condition if B is greater than A. I'm saying print B is greater. Okay. Now I'm writing elif. Elif is nothing but else if. It is helping us to get to have the another decision or have the another condition. So I'm writing elif. Elif is nothing but else if. Okay, if you want to test the multiple conditions, we are using elif. Elif I'm writing A is equal to B. Then it will print both are equal. Else. Now we know that if the first condition is false, then B is greater. If the second condition is, if the first condition is true, B is greater. If the second condition is true, both are equal. Now, if both the conditions are false, then obviously A is greater. So I'm just writing print A is greater. I'm not writing any condition to that. Okay, see how I have written, I will explain it again. I have written if B is greater than A. Now, if B is greater than A, we are printing B is greater. Then elif A is equal to B. So now if A and B are equal, we are going to print both are equal. Now if B is also not greater than A and they both are also not equal, that means A is greater. So in the else part, I am just writing print A is greater. Okay. So when I will run the code, I am getting the answer A is greater. Why? Because A value is 200. Now this is a predefined value. Suppose if the user is giving the value, I'm just writing the input function here. Suppose the user is giving a value. User have given 11 and 11. Now what block should get executed? Both are equal, right? Because two values are equal, 11 and 11. So when I hit enter, it is saying both are equal. But see, again I run the code. I'm writing 1 and 2. Now see, it is saying B is greater. Again, if I change the values 4 and 1, it is saying A is greater. Means depending on the conditions, it is displaying the output. So this is the elif statement. Here we can test a multiple conditions. This is the elif statement. Then we have nested if statement. Then we have nested if statement. Now what is this nested if statement? Nested if statement is nothing but in one if there is an another if. In one if statement there is a another if statement is called as nested if statement. Let me give you example. I'm writing x is equal to 41. So if x is greater than 10, I'm printing above 10. Okay, this is my one if statement. Now in that if statement only, I'm writing another if statement. X is greater than 20. I'm I'm getting because of that.
हॅलो मॅम, तुमचा आवाज येत नाहीये.
So this is one if statement, and I have taken another if statement. See the way I'm writing, how the spaces I am giving. So if I'm taking the value of x from user, I'm giving just input function. It is asking 1. So if it is asking 1, see the output, I'm not getting anything because we have not written for the value 1. We have just written for this if. Okay. Then what to do that? See, I will run the code again and I will give value 12. So when I am giving a value 12, it will display me the output of this. Okay. So based on these functions, it will give me a value. Okay. See, now it is saying about 10, but not about 20. Means I have taken a value 11, which is about 10, but not above 20. So this is how we do a nested if statement. Nested if is nothing but there is one if statement. Inside that, there is another if statement. You can do any program of this nested if statement. Like suppose if you want to tell the user to put the age, but first you have to check whether the user has given a positive value or not. If it is a positive value, then you have to check whether the age is greater than 18 or not. If it is a 18, then only you have to print he is eligible for voting. Else he is not eligible for voting. And if, after that you can write one more else saying it is a negative value. So this is how we can write a if statements. Okay. So there are these 4 types. First is if statement, where only one condition will check. If that is true, it will get print. Then we have a if else statement, where any one condition will get print. It may be a true or it may be a false. Any one condition will get print. That is the if else statement. Then we have elif statement, where we can check a multiple values. We can execute multiple conditions, and based on that we will get the output. Then there is a nested if statement, where in the one if statement there is another if statement. So these are the 4 types of conditional statements in Python programming. Now see this code. I have taken the value of x is 22. So first condition what I am writing, whether x is greater than 0. Now if x is greater than 0, I am checking the another condition, whether x is greater than 18. So if x is greater than 18, I am printing is eligible for voting. Else he is not eligible for voting. Simple. If he is greater than x, if the value is greater than 18, the person is eligible for voting. Else he is not eligible for voting. So this is the one program, if else part, which is included in the first if statement, whether x is greater than 0. Now if x, suppose someone had inputted a negative value, it will directly jump to the else part. Age cannot be negative. Means what? There is one if else block. Inside that I have written another if else block. Means the second condition is dependent on the first condition. X should be greater than 0. Like if we are taking a factor as a age should obviously be a greater than 0. And if it is a greater than 0 and it is eligible, if it is greater than 18, then only person is eligible for voting. This means we are checking multiple conditions at the same time, which is dependent on the first condition. So this x greater than 18 condition is dependent on x greater than 0. So let me give a -1. We know that age cannot be a negative. So I have printed age cannot be negative. If I am giving 5, then it will print not eligible for voting because we have a condition that it should be greater than 18. Now, if I'm giving 55, then it is displaying eligible for voting. Okay, so this is what a simple program of nested if. In one if, there is another if statement. So we are calling it as a nested if statement.